Alrighty, we should be live and everything seems to be in working order, so we can hop right into it. Welcome to my ranking, which may or may not be influenced by the chat here, but this will be my ranking, my ultimate tier list of every Pokemon game released so far. I haven't played every single Pokemon game released so far, but I've played a pretty big majority of them at the very least, so I think this will be very fruitful. I've made sure to include all the spin-off games. I'm pretty sure I have them all. If I'm missing any, I might be able to edit them in and sort of do an updated version of this. I'll have to do an updated version of this over the next few years anyway, since Pokemon games release on a pretty consistent basis. So I will go ahead and explain how the chat can have an influence in the game if they want to. As it is written on the screen, you can tip me to influence the position of games on the tier list. You can donate $5 to move a game up or down one tier, $10 to move a game up or down 2 tiers, and then $100 if you want to pick a tier and lock a game to that tier permanently. I think that's pretty much it for the rules. So without further ado, let's hop right in and get started because I am kinda eager. Now the games are pretty much ordered in, not release order, but close enough to it, at least for the main series games. We have all the main series games stacked together, and then the spin-off games in a proximity close to that generation they were released in. But then towards the end of the list, it's just a whole bunch of spin-off games regardless of when they were released. So we are starting with Generation 1, which is fitting. So we've got the red version and the blue version. Personally, I would put these games at, I think that red, blue, and I want to include yellow here. I'm going to put, yeah, red, blue, and yellow at an A. I wouldn't put them at an S. And the A might be a little bit colored by nostalgia blindness, so... But they are the games, red and blue are the games that started it all, and yellow is the game that started the trend of improving upon the games within their generation, so... Let me try and think rationally. Should I put them at B? I can always move them later, so I'm going to start with putting them at A. I am biased towards blue, so I'll put blue ahead, blue, red, then yellow. And I think that works out very nicely. Next we have Pokemon Pinball. The original Pokemon Pinball. I spent a lot of time playing this game. Not as much as I spent on red, blue, and yellow, but decent enough amount of time. And where would I rank it? I'm gonna say B for Pokemon Pinball. Yeah, that works for me. We've got the trading card game. The TCG. Let's see. I really enjoy playing through the TCG game. I'm not entirely sure if I would put that at A or B or maybe lower. I think we're going to start it out at B as well. I have a feeling that most of the spin-offs are going to wind up at B. Stadium, the first battle simulator. I'm going to put that at A because I'm a fan of battle simulation Pokemon games. And we've got Hey You Pikachu. That's going to be C because I played it and it wasn't, I mean, it was fun, but I wouldn't put it on the same level as Stadium or even Red, Blue, Yellow, because it is rather limited in what's capable of. We've got Pokemon Snap. Snap, I'm gonna say that's a solid B. Yes. B. You know what? Do I like Pokemon Snap enough to put it all the way up at an S? Maybe not. I'm gonna say A. I think it earns an A. Pokemon Puzzle League. The original Puzzle League for the Nintendo 64. I really enjoy the Puzzle League style games, so I think that might just earn itself an A tier as well. Yeah, I think this works for now. Okay, we've got Gold, Silver, and Crystal next. Already we're going to get into some spicy, controversial takes. I personally did not find the Johto region games to be as awesome as everyone else seems to think they are. Personally, I would put them at a mid-tier. So I would put Gold, Silver, and Crystal at around the C. Because they're not bad games by any means, but I wouldn't say they're in the upper echelons of Pokemon games. But I would definitely put them above Hey You Pikachu, so at least there's that. And Crystal, it is the first one to introduce things like picking the gender of your player character and the battle tower and no, I think the battle tower was in Gold and Silver too, or as well, but this is also the first game that had a sort of wireless communication feature, though it was only in Japan. So that didn't really affect my personal gameplay experience. But technological feats aside, even then I would say it's on the same tier as Gold and Silver, so that works. Puzzle League Challenge. I like this game a lot. I think, let's see, I'm trying to think between Puzzle League and Puzzle League Challenge, which do I like better. I think I will put Puzzle League Challenge in A, and the original Puzzle League at B. Yes, that works, because personally I liked the Puzzle League Challenge better. It reminded me more of the classic Puzzle League Panel to Pawn style games. The Puzzle League, the original Pokemon Puzzle League, did have a lot more going for it. If you're a fan of the anime, I think you would probably rank it higher. And if you're a fan of the games, more a fan of the games, so you would probably rank Puzzle League Challenge higher. So really, I could swap them either way. It's a matter of personal preference. My personal preference is Challenge over the original. Now we have Stadium 2. Another battle simulator. I will put Stadium 2 equal to Stadium 1. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure Stadium 2 also had the Game Boy Player thing like Stadium 1 did. And you could play all the games released up to that point. I'm pretty sure you could play Red, Blue, Yellow, as well as Gold, Silver, and Crystal with Stadium. So I'm going to say it's an A. And was that all of Generation 2? Yes, it seems so. Okay, so we're moving into Generation 3, my favorite generation. Or one of them, since I think there are a few that qualify. We got the original Ruby and Sapphire. I think these games leveled up the Pokemon gameplay experience to a level that, a level that was greatly advanced over what we had from Gold and Silver. It refined and expanded on so many things, and it really set the standard for what Pokemon Battle would become in terms of how deep and complex and involved the battle system for the game would actually be. So, for those reasons, I'm going to set it at A. And we've got Fire Red and Leaf Green. The remakes of the original game set Generation 3. I will put them at B. Or well, should I swap them? Let me think about it. See, it does have things that they're faithful remakes. They take everything that Ruby and Sapphire improved about the battle system and the complexity of Pokemon and the gameplay elements, the refinements to types and such, and they set that to the original Red and Blue gameplay story, and they added something to it with the Sevi Islands, which made the game feel a little bit more complete in my mind. So I would put them at a B. In that case, Ruby, the original Red and Blue only merit an A over Fire Red and Leaf Green because of their being the originals. Is that logical? You know, might not be. So I could swap. But I feel like that's... Or I could put them all at the A tier. I'm gonna go with B. I'm gonna stick with my original B. I might refine things later on. So next we have the Emerald version. No brainer, that one's an S for me, the first S. I'm playing through it, replaying through it now on my channel, and I'm enjoying it just as much as I did the first time I played it. I definitely see myself coming back to this game over and over again in the future because I enjoy the experience of playing it that much. It's like the culmination of everything that came before it from generations 1, 2, and 3. Perfected. Definitely up there. Okay, next we have Colosseum. A much beloved set of games in the fandom. For me, I would put them at an A. I'll put Colosseum and XD at an A. Because I really enjoy playing through these games. The entire battling process of the game is all double battles, which I enjoyed. It really got to refine that whole system and expose it to players at a larger scale. And of course it's 3D and it's a Pokemon adventure. The first console RPGs in the Pokemon series, even though they are spin-offs. So yeah, that merits an A. Now we have Box, Ruby and Sapphire. I'm gonna put that at D, only because it's not actually a game, it's just Pokemon storage and expansion, box storage and expansion, which is a much needed thing, but it's not much of a game, so I will put it at D. Pinball Ruby and Sapphire. I will put this at an A. Put it an A alongside the original Pinball. Pokemon Channel. Again, not really much of a game, but it does, well, in the UK, I believe, the UK and was it in Japan too? I'm not entirely sure. This was the game where you got where you could download a Jirachi to Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So I will give it a buff just because this gives access to a rare Pokemon. I'm not entirely sure on if Box had a rare Pokemon too. Distribution. Okay, we've got the original Mystery Dungeon games. Sadly, I've never had the chance to play the original Mystery Dungeon games. I know they've been remade recently, so I probably should try and hunt down the remake and see if I can play through that. I've heard nothing but good things about the games, so I'm sure they would go pretty high on the list if I'd actually played through them. So, we are our first never played on the list. And with that, it seems we're pretty much done with Generation 3 titles. And now we are moving into Generation 4. We've got the original Diamond and Pearl. I would put Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl are A tier. They're high A tier. Among the generations that I enjoy playing the most and put a lot of hours into. I'm pretty sure that I maxed out the clock on Pearl, which is basically 1,000 hours, 999 hours. And then Platinum. Again, like Emerald, improved on the original games. Actually, I'm gonna push Platinum down to S, but I will put it ahead of... But I put it ahead of Red and Blue. Yes, I think I would. Top tier A are Red, Blue, Platinum. Yes. Actually, since we're arranging our A tier, Platinum, Ruby, Sapphire, Platinum, Ruby, Sapphire, Red, Blue. Okay, let's see. I think that looks good. Rumble, the original Pokemon Rumble. Played it and it was okay, like... I mean, it's fun. Not great. Yep. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. C. Controversial. Hot take. Hello, Tyson. How are you? Hot take here about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I believe that this is one of the first places, and maybe the biggest place, where Game Freak dropped the ball in terms of carrying out a remake, because they had an opportunity to improve on the flaws that Gold and Silver had, and they just opted to go for a completely faithful remake, completely passing over the opportunity to improve upon these games. Things like a lot of the Johto Pokemon not being available to capture and take through your main quest in Johto. You had to beat the game and get almost to the end of the Kanto region, almost to the end of the entire game itself, right before you fight Red, to get even Larvitar. So I think that's one of the major flaws. Another flaw is they didn't use the opportunity to expand on the Kanto region. When they added the Kanto region in Gold and Silver, it was a very stripped down version of the Kanto region. Wasn't a whole lot of areas to explore. It was a rather straightforward pathway through the gyms to the point of getting to Red. Also, the Pokewalker was good. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really that much to write home about at the end of the day. So I would put these, I would say that graphically and feature-wise, they're superior to the originals, I would say. Do I want to say that? Maybe not. I will put them below. Oh, if that's right. Emerald was the one that introduced, or not Emerald, excuse me. Crystal was the one that introduced the Chris player character, so yeah. I'm going to say Crystal above Gold and Silver, and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver above Crystal in the C tier overall. And I think that works for me. Yes. Because, as I said, a lot of wasted opportunity in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I think that if Game Freak had taken the eye of, we could improve some things like the leveling system. How by the time you get to the end of your quest, you're severely underleveled for the Elite Four, requiring you to start grinding. And there weren't a lot of places to grind, so you had to grind on wild Pokemon. And then the Johto Pokemon. A lot of the best ones and most interesting ones being locked behind having to complete the game and get to the Kanto region and then get almost all the way through the Kanto region. So by the time you catch these Pokemon, you can't really enjoy them. But that's gonna be it for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Ranch is another storage game. I know you could get Mew and I think Celebi from Ranch. So do I want to give Ranch the boost that I gave Channel for having Jirachi? I guess I'll do that. It's only fair. Battle Revolution. Excellent Pokemon battle simulation game in my opinion. Would I say it's the best one? Thinking, it's at least equal to Stadium. Stadium lets you play the games through Stadium on the console. Battle Revolution doesn't do that, but it had the Wi-Fi, so you could play people across the globe. And between those two features, I would say the Wi-Fi comes out on top. So yeah, I would put Battle Evolution at the top of the battle simulations, the Pokemon battle simulators. Dash, never played it. But it looked kind of like a basic game anyway, not very fledged out in terms of features. So I would put Dash. I would probably rank it low if I could rank it. Is this the original Pokemon Ranger, or is this... I think this is... No, this isn't the original. Wait. Yeah, there was Pokemon Ranger, Guardian Signs, which I think was the third game. What was the original Pokemon Ranger? I can't remember what Pokemon Ranger 2 was called, but I think I played 2 and 3. Or maybe just 2. Either way, I recognize this one. This is the one I played, and I enjoyed it too. I would say a B. A high B. More than Puzzle League, more than Rumble. Pinball. Did I enjoy that more than Pinball? Maybe... Yeah, I would say maybe with a Pinball. Guardian Signs, the sequel. That was okay. I don't think I enjoyed Guardian Signs as much as I did Pokemon Ranger 2, which I don't know what the subtitle to that was. Mystery Dungeon Explorers of the Sky. I don't think I got to play this one. So again, it's never played. I would probably say Mystery Dungeon is the Pokemon spin-off series I've played the least amount of games for. I think I've played 2 or 3 games in the series total, and they were later games in the series. I missed out on the DS and Game Boy Advance games. Troze. I don't think I played the original Troze. I got to play a sequel. Poke Park Wii. Again, never played. Here's the original Pokemon Ranger. Never got to play that one. Now we are up to Black and White. Black and White. I really loved Black and White. I think I will put them in my S tier. This was the first time since the original, since Gold and Silver, really, or not Gold and Silver, since Ruby and Sapphire, that the Pokedex was expanded by a significant amount. It was like 156 new Pokemon introduced in Black and White, which was amazing because I'm a fan of large Pokedexes being introduced. One of my biggest complaints with the recent games is that they expand the Pokedex by such small amounts, like 70 new Pokemon, 70 new Pokemon. I think they introduced 100 in Scarlet and Violet, which felt like a breath of fresh air after both Sun and Moon and X and Y only introduced like 70 some new Pokemon, filling out the rest of the decks with Mega Evolutions or Dynamaxes, things that were temporary new forms, not new evolutions to Pokemon. So I really enjoyed that. Also, I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that they couldn't use any old Pokemon, but I love the fact that you had to use the new Pokemon throughout the adventure in Black and White. I always try to use new Pokemon in my playthroughs anyway, so I really enjoyed the fact that even if I wanted to, I couldn't fall back on using things that I knew from the old games to get through the main quest. Also, the story was really good, and it's amazing. Antagonist slash rivals type character. Getz's really great villain. Team Plasma, I would say in the upper echelons of the evil teams. with how devious they were in their ultimate plan, hiding their ultimate goal from the people. Really good. I would probably say that Galaxy ranks above Plasma, but Plasma's a really close number 2. And we have the Dream World, which was a web game, but let's see. I found it generally enjoyable. I would say an A or B. A B only because it was so good for getting resources and things you couldn't get in the original Black and White. You could get Pokemon with hidden abilities and transfer them back to Black and White. You could get items, special items, and transfer them back to Black and White. It was really good. Black 2 and White 2. I think I will put these at an A. I didn't enjoy Black 2 and White 2 as much as I enjoy Black and White. I don't know if it was because I wanted a gray version more. I don't think so, because these two combined, they're basically a gray version anyway, but I just wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the changes that they made to the game. But it's not a bad game, and it's a really good game. High on the end on the Pokemon game experience. But I like Black and White more out of that generation. Conquest. Another one of my regrets. I never got to play Conquest, and I really, really wanted to, because I love the concept of combining the Warring States Nobunaga kind of games with crossover with Pokemon, and it's a strategy RPG. SRPG is one of my favorite genres, so it's one of those things that I regret not getting a chance to play. Pokemon Rumble Blast. I don't think I ever played Blast, so I will put Blast here. Gates to Infinity. Don't think I got a chance to play this one again. Super Mystery Dungeon. Finally. Mystery Dungeon game that I got to play. Playing it, I enjoyed it. So, and I hear that the other games, the Mystery Dungeon games released before Super Mystery Dungeon, are better. But personally, I'd put it at around B. Poke Park 2. Never played it. Oh, the Dream Radar. I played it a little bit, but not enough for it to really have an impression on me. So I will put that at C, because I don't even remember much about it. I know that it also could get you access to Pokemon, so I'm gonna put it about C. X and Y. I'm going to say that X and Y are B for me. I didn't find them to be bad games at all. I enjoyed playing through them. Had lots of fun. I think that there were things that they sort of dropped the ball on, like they had that team of friends slash rivals, but they weren't really very strong. I feel like they could have been stronger. If they were stronger, I think that would have helped. What else? I like Team Flare. I like Team Flare more than most people like Team Flare. I like the gym quest. The gym leaders were good. The Elite Four was good. Champion All. Wait, that's not Alder. It's Diantha. Oh yeah, Champion Diantha. She was not that great. She was okay, but not great. Like, I suppose part of that is because Cynthia set the bar so high as a champion. I would put her like around Lance level. Lance has always been a rather unimpressive champion to me. I was always more impressed by Gary having my rival be the champion. And Diantha feels like about that level of unimpressive to me as a champion. Like, there was a lot of good in X and Y. So there are by no means bad games, and actually, when you look at them objectively, they're pretty good games. They were a little bit hand-holdy in the beginning, which is another thing that people generally didn't like about the games, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So I would put them at a B tier. Solidly in the B tier. Okay. Now we have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. These games were, I would say, they're the best remakes that Game Freak has ever done. So I would rank them above all other remakes, which puts them at an A tier. They didn't have the Battle Frontier, which was a huge disappointment. If they had the Battle Frontier, I would put them at a solid S tier. I might even put them above the original Pokemon Emerald if they had the Battle Frontier, because that's how much they added to the game and improved on things. They had the contest upgraded to the, wasn't Super Contest. Super Contests are from Diamond and Pearl, but they updated the contest system. They had gym leader rematches. They had, I believe, the match call feature from Emerald. And the Mega Evolutions for Primal Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. I believe the Mega Evolution phenomenon was best explored in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So for that reason, they definitely rank in A. Would I put them above the original Ruby and Sapphire? Yes, I think I would. So high tier A, not above Platinum. Yeah, not above Platinum. Because Platinum actually had a Battle Frontier. Yep, that looks good to me. These are Japanese exclusive eShop mystery dungeon games, I believe. Never played these. Pokemon Bank. Pokemon Storage. So I put that on the same level as Box, even though I'm pretty sure Bank could deliver some prize Pokemon to the player, so, but it's not a game. No gameplay whatsoever, so I will put, yeah. keep that at D. Rumble World. I believe I played this one and I liked it alright. It's like a C. Like a C. Typing adventure. Never played it. But I've heard the soundtrack to the game. Soundtrack is awesome. Sun and Moon. Ooh, Sun and Moon. Where do I want to put Sun and Moon? My first thoughts for Sun and Moon is low tier B. Because the games tried to break out of the mold, and there were some things that I liked about that and some things that I felt fell flat, which merit the games being around a B for me. Like the whole Island Kahuna quest, I think was sort of a mixed bag. There are parts of it that I liked, parts of it that I didn't like. I thought the totem Pokemon were great, like bosses. And the way they had the stat boost when you entered battles with them, so they weren't entirely total pushovers. I thought that was great. Trial captains were good. I felt like they could have done something where there was both trial captains and gym leaders. But looking at the overall story of how you're kind of building the first Pokemon League in Alola, so within that context it makes sense. It's just, as a gameplay experience, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I liked it, but it wasn't something that like I would pick over. I didn't think it was better than the gym leader quests, or even on that same level for me. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I would say that these were good improvements over the original Sun and Moon. I know a lot of people felt like they weren't, but I feel like for me they were. And Ultra Necrozma, amazing boss battle. Still, I think one of the top tier boss battles in the series, especially when it catches you off guard as a new player. So for that, I will put them up probably around where X and Y are. Let's see, between Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, X and Y. I'm gonna say X and Y, so that order is good. Actually, let me bump these down. That looks good. Pokemon Home. Again, it's just storage, so that's gonna be a D. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, F. Solid F. We're visiting Kanto again for the third time because Game Freak can't stop baiting nostalgia. It's irritating. Pokemon Go controls for main series Pokemon game? No thank you. Replacing Gary with a pale imitation of Gary? No thank you. Pikachu and Eevee as your starters? No thank you. Everything about the game just screamed casuals. We're trying to appeal to casuals. Please, Pokemon Go players, play this main series game. It'll be your gateway drug into the main series games. and it failed at that. An absolute waste, and a shame that these are the first Pokemon RPGs released, main series Pokemon RPGs released on Nintendo Switch. I even am loath to call them main series games because of how they don't really fit into the main series timeline anyway. The only good thing I would say about these games is that they showed off Leaf. They introduced the character Leaf into the main series games. That's about it. So we got Sword and Shield. I would say Sword and Shield are A tier. A tier. I like the gym battles. I like not Mega Evolution, the Dynamax and Gigantamax. I think they were fun for what they were. I didn't hate them. Leon's a great champion. Hop is a good rival. I don't know why people had it out for Hop so much. I think Hop's story kind of went a little bit sideways, but it wasn't bad. I just miss having rivals that actually competed with the player to that level where they both reach the level of being super powerful trainers in their own rights. I don't like the rivals that give up in the middle of their quest and go off and do something else. But I guess it does kind of set the narrative point that not everyone is cut out to be a high-level elite trainer, and a lot of people that set out to become high-level elite trainers will fall off the wayside and give up. But I feel like the rival shouldn't always be used in every single game as the illustration of that point. Because then it's like, what's the point of even having a rival? The person's just going to fall off by the middle of the game and disappear, and you'll never see them again, and there'll never be a challenge for you. So, what is even the point? So, I feel like that sort of got Hop, but Hop kind of had a bit of a rally towards the end because he does show up at the Pokemon League and challenge you, even though it's alongside Marnie and Bede and other trainers. But I like that. I like Hop, Marnie, and Bede. Bede especially. I really like Bede. I think Bede probably should have been the rival. I think Bede's storyline also kind of got messed over in the middle when he gets sort of recruited to become a gym leader or the apprentice, future successor of a gym leader. Wasn't really a fan of that. Ideally, I would have liked Hop and Bede to just be super strong trainers and come to the Pokemon League as sort of major tier rivals. That these are minor gripes. I think the wild area was great. It was that first step into what would eventually be an open world Pokemon game. I think their sort of proof of concept of open world gameplay mechanics in Pokemon worked out. Not a fan of the overworld encounters, which is why I'm glad that Sword and Shield struck that balance of still having random encounters alongside these overworld encounters. I liked a lot of the new Pokemon introduced. Solid, strong collection of new Pokemon introduced. Team Yell's pretty awesome. Well, not Team Yell, I would say Marnie was pretty awesome, and I like the connection to the final gym, which was a gym that sort of rebelled against the idea of using Dynamax, which is also really cool. There are a lot of really cool elements in Sword and Shield. I didn't like the two brothers with the sword and shield shaped hair. That was like sort of out of pocket, but not enough to hurt the game overall. Arceus. Legends Arceus. Now, where do I want to put Legends Arceus? I think a B tier. Or do I want to put him at A? At A below Sword and Shield? See how that feels. All overworld encounters, which I feel are about all overworld encounters. Feel kind of mixed about them. I don't like them, but the way that Sword and Shield does it, or the way that Sword and Shield does it is better than the way Legends Arceus does it, but the way Legends Arceus does it is linked to the gameplay style of Legends Arceus, which is that mix of action game with Pokemon, which I don't hate, but I don't like the idea that it pushed a lot of fans towards the idea that Pokemon, or it encouraged a lot of fans that already had the belief that Pokemon needs to be an action game. These modern people, sort of like tourist fans that don't understand JRPGs and why it's important that Pokemon have JRPG elements, and why losing those JRPG elements, it eventually reaches a point where it no longer feels like Pokemon anymore. And I think that Legends Arceus is skirting that line nicely for what it is at this time. I hope that if they do make future Pokemon Legends style games, that they stay right on the line where Arceus has set it. Because if they tilt too far into the action game, it's going to feel like something completely different from Pokemon. And I know they don't want to tilt too far back into RPGs, because then it would just be like another main series RPG, which I personally don't mind. I find no problem with Pokemon in the original style of turn-based JRPG, and in my opinion, that should be a staple element for the entire life of the series. Story-wise, Legends Arceus is really, really good. Story-wise, I will probably push it up. Yeah, I would push it up towards Black and White in terms of story. Okay. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Gonna put these at B. B. The games kind of address some of the things that were wrong with Diamond and Pearl, and they are good, faithful remakes, so there's that going for them. The post game is really good. I just got into the post game, so like I'm completing the Pokedex, and then after that, that opens up things a little bit more. I get the National Dex. And then I can move on to the areas and catching like Heatran and such. So I'm just opening up the post game. I hear that the final rematch with Cynthia is like one of the hardest, or perhaps the hardest to date. Hardest Pokemon battle in the game, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Looking forward to it and dreading it. So elements like that are really good. This has a lot of good features, like when you get to the post game, you can get an item that allows you to switch between the original soundtrack and the modern soundtrack, which is really awesome. So with the paid online, the GTS features in the game have been butchered compared to the original, so that's a downgrade in my mind. Because everything about this that should have been what the GTS is Link is all in Home, so they didn't put it in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which makes them an absolute mess. I think they could have used more of the Emerald features. I think people are overly harsh on these games as remakes. I think they're solid. I would say they're not as bad as Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but they don't reach the heights of, say, a Brilliant Diamond, not Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. I'd say they're kind of mid-tier in terms of remakes. So yeah, I would put them right around there. And I think that these games combined with Legend Arceus, and you get like if Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were all wrapped up, merged together into some kind of amalgamation new game, they would probably be the ultimate remakes. So in my mind, it's like they took the ultimate remakes and split it into two games. You get the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and then you get the Legends Arceus. But they are two separate games, so they are ranked as two separate games. And in that ranking, I think Legends Arceus is better. It's different, and I would say marginally better than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as games. Well, it's quite a wide margin, but it is a margin. So now we have current generation. Scarlet and Violet. I would say Scarlet and Violet. I'm gonna put them... This is hard. A tier. Above Sword and Shield. There are some things that I don't like. Like, again, we've got the overworld thing. Pokemon overworld encounters. If this was a mix of overworld and random encounters like Sword and Shield, I think I would push them even higher as it stands, but the story for the games is really good. I would say, story-wise, these games push up a little bit. I would say, yeah, they're between Black and White and Legends Arceus. Or, yeah, between character between Legends Arceus and Black and White, Penny, Arvin, and Nimona, outstanding characters, really strong rivals. They all ended up being like final boss tier battles that you had to face. Even Arvin, which I had going into it, I had no expectations that Arvin would be a challenge, but he was a challenge. He was actually the first trainer to beat me in the game, which I found really fun, interesting, refreshing. The story around the characters is really good. I would say Nimona's is the weakest story of the three, but her story is just, her story suits her direct nature and her goals, which is just to be the strongest and have lots of fun battles. So to that end, I think it fits her very nicely and it works out. Arvin, excellently written character. Great connection throughout the story. I like that Scarlet and Violet achieves what I wish Sun and Moon had, in that it has the 3 separate story roads, story paths. So you have your Gym Leader Challenge, your Pokemon League, and then you have the Herba Mystica quest, which is a little bit more like the Trial Captains in the Alola style quest. And then you have the Team Star, which is your villain quest, your evil team defeating quest. And then after that, you have your ultimate fight the legendary Pokemon quest. And I really liked how that story structure is laid out. I think if they were ever to do a remake, I don't want to go that far, because that would be changing a lot of things, and I like remakes to be as faithful as possible. So I wouldn't want a remake of Sun and Moon to have split up story quests like that, because it would require adding new characters anyway, a whole lot of new characters. But going forward, I wouldn't mind it if they did quests similar to the way quest structures with multiple quests the way they did in Scarlet and Violet. Detective Pikachu, the original. Never played it. Remake, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Remake, again, never played it, want to play it. Pokken, never played it. Art Academy, nope, never played it. New Pokemon Snap, played it, liked it quite a bit. I'm gonna say B. Solid B. Detective Pikachu Returns. Never played it, but I hear it's not great. Pokemon Go. Played a whole lot of it. A whole lot. I'm gonna put it at a D tier. Yes. D is solid. It's like probably my favorite pastime on mobile, but it doesn't, as someone that plays and loves the main series games, it's just pales in comparison, which is a good thing because I wouldn't want a main series Pokemon RPG experience on mobile. So it's really just my personal preference. Should probably put it at C then. Yeah. And I like that it is interactive with the main series games through Pokemon Home. So that I can send some of the Pokemon I catch and go to main series games. Enjoy that. And I think that mostly it's the microtransactions and the mobile style gameplay stuff, the monetization schemes, that hurts the game the most. I think if it was less focus on monetization and a little bit more focus on player experience, especially player experience for players that aren't living in like major metropolitan areas. The Pokemon Go development team is like hell-bent on the major metropolitan area sort of mindset. So all of the game features, the best gameplay experience will only be had if you live in a major metropolitan area, or you're someone that can afford to travel internationally, travel around the world and go to visit major metropolitan areas and spots around the world. So it's a fine game, but to unlock it and play it the best way possible, the best gameplay experience is for like people living in major metropolitan areas. So yeah, that's a C tier. Cafe Remix, played it, and you know, it was just okay. I don't enjoy the puzzle style in Cafe Remix as much as I do in something like a... Do I want to put an F? I'm gonna go D. I wouldn't call it an F. I don't enjoy it the way I do Puzzle League and stuff, but it's not bad. Magikarp Jump. I downloaded it, but I've never actually played it. I might want to do that because sometime soon, because I have a feeling they'll probably shut this game down in time. Rumble Rush. It's hard to tell. Have I played Rumble Rush? I don't know. I'm gonna assume I've never played it. Rumble U. Never played that one. Masters EX. Yeah, it's gonna be a B because of... Yeah, it's gonna be a B. It's sort of closer to the experience of a Pokemon RPG on the mobile. It's a good blend. I think it's the character interactions and the amount of characters in the game is, and skins for the characters and such, it's probably what's the biggest perk in the game. And I think that its monetization scheme is a little bit better than Pokemon Go's. So yeah, I think that merits a B experience. Pokemon Unite. As a League of Legends player, Pokemon MOBA, really, really good. I'm gonna say above EX. How far up the B tier do I want to put Pokemon Unite as an experience? Up here. Is it better than the Pokemon Ranger games? Pokemon Ranger. I think that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Pokemon Duel. Played it. And it was just okay. Kind of subpar, so yeah. Pokemon Pre-Cross. Played it, and again, it was okay. Kind of subpar. Quest. I don't think I played Quest. Shuffle. Played Shuffle. Again, it was subpar. Battle Churze. I believe I have played it. Smile. Never played it. Sleep. Played it. It's not great, but I'm not the kind of person that kind of sets it up properly so that I can get the most out of it, so that's more on me than the game itself, that I don't know so much about it, but I have played it, played a little bit. The sequel to Pokemon trading card game that was only released in Japan, never played it. Pokemon Live, which is the trading card game now. Play it quite a bit and I like it. It's a great way to play the TCG. Then the original Pokemon trading card game online, which is the same thing. Trading card game online is now shut down and it's become trading card game live, so I would say trading card game online is better, but that's probably mostly because it had so much time to be developed and fleshed out and made. So at the time it was shut down, it was really good. Live is going to have to take some time to build itself up. And when it does, hopefully it will reach the same level and exceed trading card game. Oh, and that is it. Yes, I got through all the games. So now let's review and make sure that everything is to my liking here. Okay, so we got S tier, Emerald, Black and White. I like that. Looking, let's see, A. Is there anything I want to move up to S out of A? Platinum. Let's say no. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. No, because they don't have the Battle Frontier, but if I take out that Battle Frontier bias, are they S tier games? Because if they're not, the gap between them and Ruby and Sapphire isn't that great, the original. But Ruby and Sapphire are pretty high tier games in my mind, so I feel comfortable with that. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. Scarlet and Violet. Better than Diamond and Pearl? Yes. It's not a huge gap, but yes. Diamond and Pearl, better than Red and Blue? Yes. Red, Blue, Yellow? Yes. Yes. Objectively, yes. From nostalgia factor, I mean, nostalgia factor is holding Red, Blue, and Yellow in A position, so I think that's good. Holding them solidly in the center of A. holding them above all the battle simulators, which, yeah, I would say the main series RPG is above the battle simulators. Even the one with online play. Yes, I'll say that. And dang it, they need to make new battle simulators. Where is a Pokemon? I don't care that Scarlet and Violet already are basically battle simulators. Make a dedicated battle simulator game, like a Revolution 2, or make it an entirely new franchise with a new name, but a darn battle simulator game that you can play. I don't care if it's redundant. So we got Stadium 2, Snap, really good. Puzzle League Challenge, yes. Coliseum and XD above Puzzle League. Yeah, I'll say that. Black 2 and White 2 above Puzzle League and Stadium or Coliseum. Above Stadium. Okay, yeah. Stadiums, Coliseum XD. Hold steady there. Let's do this. And then we have Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield above Black and White 2. Yes. No. No. So I think that's good. Let's push Arceus up here. There we go. Let's do that. Coliseum XD, Stadiums, Snap. Yeah. And our B tier. Fire and Leaf Green leading the pack. Are they better than X and Y? E. I will swap. Because Fire and Leaf Green are remakes. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Okay, yes. Then let's see. Sun and Moon. Do I like Sun and Moon more than Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? And more than Fire Red and Leaf Green. Okay. Yes. BDSP. Before, after Fire Red and Leaf Green. As for remakes, they are, I would say, around. Okay. Yeah, that works. That works out. Our C tier. Okay. Eating the pack, we've got Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Crystal. They are better than Crystal. Crystal is better than Gold and Silver. a Pikachu, channel, ranch. These are mostly storage and accessory things. Got Rumble, World. Cafe is a game, Duel is a game, Picross, these are games, but do I want to... So do I want to put these games that are kind of mid, or actually subpar, a little bit subpar games above storage and accessory apps because they are games above apps, even apps that provide a lot of value to the main series games they connect to. I think I'll stick with the way I have it. F, I'm surprised that it's just Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. My dislike of them is that strong. I think that they merit an F. In my mind, they merit an F. Okay. And then we have our never played, which I'm certain of these being games that I've never played. Maybe I should try to play Pokemon Conquest on the channel. I've thought about it before. That might be something I should look into doing. Okay, so that's gonna be our list. My tier list of Pokemon games. My objectively, factually correct and unassailable in its honor and structure tier list. Anyone that doesn't agree is absolutely wrong. Totally wrong. Once I set this, okay. Yep, that looks all good. And with that, I suppose we are done with the tier list. So thank you so much for watching me rank all these Pokemon games. And I guess I can do other tier lists for games or other things. I had some thoughts. If people enjoy this and want to see me give my opinions or rant about more games or whatever, you can send me suggestions for tier lists in the comments, and I'll see if I can do more tier list videos or slash streams if people are interested in them. So with that, thank you so much for watching.